the disappointment. So it's nice for the family, partners, kids to enjoy it. Look,
and just on that, he talked about when Jamie asked the question about Roy, I think it was about him adapting as well. We've talked about Spurs on this high line for so long, and Jamie on numerous occasions said the need to adapt, and it's just thought in today's game he got his tactics spot on.
Just carrying on. Here's Ange now.
And here is the Europa League winning manager, Ange Postecoglou. A big sigh there, and you've ended Spurs' 17-year trophy drought, their first European Cup since '84. Just tell us what was going through your mind on that final whistle.
Look, I'm still kind of taking it all in. It's I know what it means for this football club, you know, and unfortunately, the longer it goes on, it's harder to break that cycle sometimes. And you know, even I could sense the nervousness in everybody at the club because they've been in a situation before, and until you get that, until you break that sort of, take that monkey off your back, you never understand what it feels like. And we've got a really young group, but I'm hoping them tasting this now and the success they have, you guys will know it feeds into itself. You know, they feel differently about themselves, and mainly for the supporters, because you know, there's probably been supporters here who've been following us for those 41 years. We haven't won one in Europe, and 17, you know, and just what it means to them, it's incredible.
And I think you was criticised quite a lot during the season, and people saying, "Oh, where's the plan B, etc." I think at times in Europe, today especially, you showed there's a different way that you could set a team up to play. What was the reasons for doing that today compared to what you've been doing before?
I've always felt that kind of knockout football is different from your league football, you know. When you're in that situation, it comes down to really good organisation, you know, having a real clear game plan, and then moments. And if you can minimise your moments the opposition have by having a really strong foundation. And to be honest, I felt, look, having Romero, Van der Ven, Udogie, Porro, Vicario in goal, we haven't had that luxury a lot. And with Basuma and Bentancur, I just felt we're going to be really hard to break down. We could have been a little bit better in transition today. I thought we had our moments. We could have worked that better, but I always felt comfortable that if we got ahead, that we could sort of negate, you know, most of what Man U were going to throw at us.
Congratulations, Ange. And you said you were going to win something in that second year, and you bloody well went and done it. Good man. So pleased for you.
Thank you.
Really pleased for you.
Thank you.
And do you think that helped the players? When you said that, come out and said that, the pressure was on you, but did it help them? Did they believe a bit more?
Yeah, I think people misinterpret it. It wasn't me boasting. It was me just making a declaration. And I believed it. You know, at the time I said it, you know, I was still in the Carabao Cup. I just had this thing inside me that more than anything else, and I know our league form's been terrible, nowhere near good enough and unacceptable, but us finishing third wasn't going to change this football club. The only thing that was going to change this football club is us winning something. And when I said that, that was my intent. I'm not afraid to declare it. If I fell short, I was happy to cop it, but I believed it inside me that was my ambition. I wanted it stated. I couldn't expect anyone from the club to say that because the club's been so close, but I could say that, and I was prepared to wear it if it didn't happen. The beauty of it is people kept reminding me of it, but the reason they kept reminding me of it was that there was still a chance to do it, so I was comfortable with it.
I bet you feel like getting it printed on a T-shirt now, Ange, and walking around in it. So how does this change the perception of the club and also the way that the club perceives itself?
I think that's the more important thing. It's how the club perceives itself, you know. I felt it's just, you know, being at the club for the last couple of years, it seems, you know, and because of what's happened in kind of its history, that people are quick to take shots at the club, and I felt at times the club hasn't defended itself as strongly as it should. And I understand that because people have been here a long time and they haven't got anything to sort of lean onto, but I'm hoping this does, you know. There's no reason now why they can't go into next year believing they can win again and another trophy and building a team that consistently strives to win things. And I think if you see yourself in that way, irrespective of what the noise is from the outside, I mean, that's what the great clubs do, you know. They expect, you know, and hopefully this taste of it takes the club forward.
And I think you've unfairly at times been criticised. You've been taking quite a lot of shots in press conferences in different parts of the media. And I think there's been a lot of people saying, listen, they could see you winning this game and saying, after 2 years, I said I'd do it, I could walk away. Where's your mind at now after a game like this and winning?
Again, you know, I've had such a laser focus on winning this thing. Whatever happens, happens. I said yesterday, we're still building this team. It's still a very young team. We need to add some experience to it. We're in the Champions League. My thought process and what I've been doing this year is trying to build a team that can be successful for 4 or 5, 6 years. Now, but I'm the manager of the football club. That decision is not in my hands. It doesn't affect me though. Like, if it was going to affect me, you would have seen it in the build up to here. All I cared about is this thing, you know. Having this thing around my neck, if I did, that meant that this football club has won a trophy.
But now you've got that thing, do you feel like just doing the mic drop, or do you want to stay and build something with this club?
No,
do you want it to be you?
I've said that, you know. Like I said, I don't feel like I've completed the job yet. We're still building. But the moment I accepted the role, I had one thing in my head, and that is to win something, more than anything else. And we've done that now, so I want to build on it.
Can I ask you as well about Sonny?
Yeah.
You made him captain. How much did you want that for him tonight after 10 years loyal service to the club?
Yeah, massive. And these two guys will tell you that we've had some unbelievable champion footballers come to this football club. Harry's a prime example, but there's so many I could go through that haven't had a day like this. And I wanted a day like this for Sonny, you know, because, you know, he's done everything he can in the last 10 years to try and get this feeling, and for one reason or another it hasn't worked. So, you know, it was kind of something in my head, and I've spoken to the players a lot about it, that, you know, outside the dressing rooms in the hallway there's photos of the winning teams, you know, and I said to Sonny, we've got to get you up there, you know.
He's a legend now.
And he deserves it.
You've made a bunch of legends now. They're going to be written in the folklore of this football club forever. Looking forward past that, recruitment season's coming now. Have you now got a different list compared to what you would have had?
Give him a chance. He just won a trophy.
I want to see who's coming in the building.
Look, I think there's an opportunity here. That's my belief, you know, because you build on this, the feeling that those players in there, they'll want this again.
Yeah.
Because until you feel it, you can't describe it to people. You know, until you win something, you can tell them how it's going to feel, but they've got it now, and they're not going to want to let it go. But we need to build on that for sure.
And congratulations.
Brilliant.
Well done. Thank you.
Well done. Congratulations.
Well done, Ange.
Enjoy the celebrations. Thank you.
You know what? When you speak to him, he's like a lovable character, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's warm.
Yeah.
He brings you in, doesn't he? And he's got that human side to him.
Rio, he showed a lot of class.
Yeah.
You know, the final whistle goes and your emotions are up there, and he spent some time with his staff, and then the next thing he's gone to every Manchester United player just to console them, and that's really top class. That
He's getting the alley love there now.
I know.
I think one thing you could say about Ange is just a very humble guy. Even in press conferences, he will always speak the truth, he'll always speak his heart. He's kind of, like I said, he's worn his heart on his sleeve, and he protects his players under any scrutiny. He'll always take the flak, whether they've made a mistake on the pitch through mistakes. He will always take it on his chin, and I think the players have rallied behind him, and they've given him what he deserves as well.
They have. They've put it all on the line tonight, especially Mickey van der Ven, who was exceptional. That goal line clearance, absolutely unbelievable. Earlier on, he spoke to Jules.
Post-game show, we're reacting to Tottenham winning the Europa League final. In the studio with me, Roy Keane,
Welcome.
Jamie Carragher, and Big
What
Meat.
can I say? You've been great tonight. You know that,
Thank you.
Anita.
You know, I had to do good for Arsenal in some way.
Let's not mention that.
I mean,
Does tonight make Arsenal's season worse?
Oh, come on, Jay.
Let's
It's
ask
about
Mike
Spurs
about- Mike is the
tonight.
pundit.
Let's talk about Spurs tonight. We don't need to bring Arsenal into it. Do you know this?
no, Michael, you're not going to
Nope.
give a word
No,
on it?
I'm not
Who's had a better
entertaining it.
season, Spurs or Arsenal?
Oh,
you think?
come on.
They've both got Champions League football and one's got a trophy.
And one has a European trophy, one doesn't.
Yeah, so just... What are the chances of North London Champions League derby next season? Maybe the knockout stage?
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, imagine table time. It's going to be
Okay,
unbearable.
well, we're going to react to the game and not on Arsenal because Peter Schmeichel has been talking to the Manchester United manager, Ruben Amorim. Here's what he's had to say.
Ruben, I know how much you love your job and you talk about that a lot, and I mean, this has got to be the worst. To come out here and try to explain how this game didn't turn out the way that we all wanted it to turn out.
Yeah, it's part of the job. We have to deal with that, and we have to try to explain the people the feeling of the dressing room. We are obviously devastated with this loss. We lost one game in this competition. We didn't win it in the last game. I think if you look at the whole game, we were the better team. But in the end, if you don't score goals, you cannot win matches.
How do you think the game was played by your players today?
I think the first half was a little bit tense. The possessions in both teams was not long. We couldn't keep the balls for so long. Tottenham the same way, a lot of second balls. But in the second half, we push the opponent to near the box. We try to cross, to create situations. So in the end, they defend the goal that they score in the divide match in the first half. In the second half, we try everything, but in the end, was nothing.
We talked before the game. We talked about obviously there was the access to the Champions League, and we're not going to talk too much about the future. But is there a contingency plan now that we're not in the Champions League, and you may think you have more time to develop the team? Is that a positive that we can take out of this?
Yeah, it's hard to talk about positives today, but we need to take advantage of everything.
But
so
we need a little bit of positive.
if we are going to suffer because we don't have Champions League and it's hard on the club, but in the other side we will have time to develop the team, to pay attention to our academy and to prepare the future. So that is clear. We need to use every minute to improve the team, and of course we always have the two plans to go to the summer.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So,
thank you.
Oh, well, as you can understand, Peter feeling rather sad. Not the case for our Spurs fan over here on my left-hand side, but we're going to go to Peter right now, of course, who's just been talking to him. Peter, I feel so sorry for you. Of course, we've had a lot of fun on the road. I thought I'd be going to Old Trafford with you next season. Not to be the case. What was the mood like around there?
well, unless we start doing the Premier League, but yeah, no European football. You know, I don't know. I mean, I listened to some of the other interviews he did just around me, and he's talking about control. I wanted him to use the word that we're in control because I wanted to ask him what's the difference between being in control and playing well. Because I don't think the team played well. I was very, very frustrated, sat here, just looking at the same pattern every time. The ball got to Harry Maguire, he played it out to Mazraoui. Then Ahmed got the ball, he tried a little bit, passed it back. There wasn't what we saw in like the last 10 minutes of the Lyon game, for instance. All of that wasn't there today. And you think they're in the final, you know, somebody's got to bring something, but it wasn't there.
Peter, can I ask you, you know, he's persistent on playing this 3-4-3. It doesn't work with these players, does it?
In all fairness, today it wouldn't have mattered what system they played because Spurs literally defended, and they did it well. They had one shot on target today. That was a goal, which was an own goal. They had one touch in the second half in Manchester United's box. One touch. They just defended. So, you know, whatever system you...
You're always winning your second season, mate. How does that feel? Come on, I've been backing you all season. I love your football. You've had your injuries, young players, but you did it tonight.
Yeah, I can't say the same for everyone on the panel.
And can you put into words how you're feeling?
Look, it's just, I don't know. I can't put it into words, to be honest. I know what it means to the football club. I know what it means to supporters. And look, it's no secret we've had a tough year, but I've just had this thing inside me, you know, kind of the back half of the year of just one focus, one target. I just felt that, you know, this was it. And to achieve it today, like I said, I know what it means to the club. You know, it's had the tag of sort of a nearly team for a long time. And the only way you break that is by winning things, and we did that today.
And you've had a long sort of managerial career in different countries, different clubs. How tough has it been for you this season, having to deal with sort of, you know, the defeat and sort of every press conference after the game, and then you've got to build up to the next game, and obviously you've had lots of games because obviously of the Europa League run that you've been on. Has it been tough for you as a manager individually?
Look, it's been the toughest couple of years I've had in my career, and I knew it going into it because I knew what I was going into. You know, this football club's had world-class managers and a lot better credential than I am, and haven't been able to get there. So I knew I had a massive challenge in front of me this year. Obviously, added stress of the injury situation we had and trying to navigate that. Jamie, like I said, I've just had this laser focus on, you know what, I still believe we could win something this year. We went deep into the Carabao Cup. Once we got knocked out of that, my focus just became Europe. And it's cost us. It's cost us in the league, and that's down to me. But I just had a feeling inside me that this was achievable this year, and I'm thankful it all worked out.
And you've spoken a lot about the fact that what a trophy could do for this club, not just this team, but almost the club. Because you've felt for a long time almost like the club's looked down on, and you have that terminology of Spursy. What do you think this trophy can actually do, not just for you and this team, but actually the club going forward in the future for years to come?
Well, I'm really hoping that it does. It changes the way the club sees itself more than anything else. I mean, externally, you can't really, adjust whatever people think about you, but how you feel about yourself is really important. And as a football club, we've just been close so many times, and I could feel the nervousness every time, in Europe. Every time we got close to something, there was always this, what if it's another year where we miss out? So we've done it now, so that's the monkey off the back. So now the club can sort of stand tall, and hopefully it does. It looks at itself a bit differently and tries to challenge for more trophies. You've won one now, so there's nothing stopping you winning again.
Hi, Ange. Roy Keane here. I just want to say, Ange, well done. Absolutely fantastic. Brilliant performance.
Thanks,
was it part of your tactic with so long to go just to sit back in and shut up shop, really? Did you think one goal would be enough? Did you actually believe that?
Yeah, I thought we could, Roy. We've been really disciplined in Europe away from home. I mean, I think we kept a clean sheet at Frankfurt. We kept a clean sheet at Bodo away from home, and very similar performances. And this group's, got that resilience in them now. Look, it makes a difference when I've got Van der Ven, Romero, Udogi, Vicario, and then, Bissouma and obviously Pyro right back with Bissouma and Bentancur. It's a real solid sort of foundation for us. And I just felt with United, if we got ahead, then I thought they'd find it really hard to break us down, and we'd be a threat on the counter-attack. We weren't as great in transition as I wanted to be, but, they had some chances, but I just felt we were strong and resilient enough to keep them out.
Ange, one more from Big Meeks himself. I know this is not the Champions League show, this is Europa League, but I would like to ask you, who's your favourite on the show, before you go?
Well, it's not me.
Might not be Thierry either.
I'm the only Spurs fan here, Ange, by the way. I'm the only Spurs fan.
He's come clean now.
Hey, we were all Spurs fans tonight.
No, you're definitely a declared Spurs fan. We got you in our camp, Roy. I love what I do. I'm so blessed to be able to, do what I love every day. And I've got beautiful people around me and my family. And so even in the hardest of days, I still think, I had to pinch myself today, to be honest. I got mates who come from Australia, and part of me was thinking I should be in the stand with them, just enjoying the spectacle. It's difficult for me to comprehend, but we're here now. We've won it, and it's something in my old age I can reflect on.
Well, I'm sorry to interject, but I asked about me, not you.
Sorry, mate. Sorry. Sorry, Mika. You've been in my camp all along. I love you, mate. I think Joe Hart's probably influenced you.
Ange, congratulations. Well done. Go celebrate.
Thank you, guys. I will.
Thank you. So there you have it.
Celtic connections, you know what I mean, with Joe Hart, the reference, just in case you... Well,
I feel like there's a couple of things we need to address, because Roy all of a sudden comes out at the end of the show, I'm a Spurs fan.
Well, he said it before, he said it before.
You have said it
his favourite, there's a Spurs fan here.
You know what he's like? He's like Don King. He just
What are you going to say if you speak to Amorim?
Listen, tough going. That's brutal.
Life of a manager.
No, the top level sport is brutal.
Yeah.
But you have to sometimes lose to win. Listen, it was a tough on United, but this is about Spurs tonight. It was about Palace last weekend. You have to congratulate Spurs. Fantastic. United, we'll see what kind of team they are, or group they are, now to bounce back next season. But long summer ahead for United.
Jamie, what did you make of Ange Postecoglou's comments there when he spoke about their tactics? He said he thought they'd be hard to break down.
Well, listen, I've been critical of Ange Postecoglou, and he referenced that, and we had the laugh and the choke, and rightly so. But what I loved tonight was he went to 5 at the back. He brought Danso on at the end of the game, and that's the type of thing I've been calling for. If you're not at your best, OK, how can we nullify the opposition? Because Manchester United were getting on top second half, and it felt to me like, not that they were getting chances, but they were just getting sort of territory. And he changed it, he did something different, and Danso made a header, I think with about 5 or 6 minutes to go, one of the best pieces of defending that we saw in the game, and I love that. I mean, we were speaking to Roy before earlier on as well about managers being adaptable. Yeah. It's OK sticking to your guns, you can't change every week, but at times you've got to change, and he identified that tonight, and I'd just love to see a little bit more of that from him. But there was one thing he also said in the interview that I thought, you know what, he's right. He's talking about his mates coming over from Australia, and he probably does pinch himself. I mean, a young guy from Australia who loves football. Football's not really that big a sport in that country, and he's over in England now managing one of the biggest teams in the country, and he just won a European trophy. So in terms of the journey he's made from Australia, fantastic.
He's done the hard job.
Yeah.
He's done the hard job.
Yeah, so Jamie, essentially what I heard you say there is that Ange Postecoglou listened to your criticism and that's how he won the game. Yeah, you know, you had to give it a little spin there.
I'm sure he'll thank me one day.
Oh, maybe. Not today. But Micah, what stood out to you from what he said there?
No, I just think he's a great human being.
Yeah.
In terms of...
Have you ever met him?
I've met him a couple of times, actually. And when they finished 5th in the first season, he thought that he'd have the momentum from that season and go into this season, but he's been a little bit spiky. You see a little bit more of his personality, but I just love it.
He didn't want to answer who was your favourite.
He said me. He basically said me.
I think you bullied him.
No, but I love these moments for him.
And you see the moments with players and families, and you have to remember what players go through. The families suffer as well.
Yes.
The disappointments. So it's nice for the family, partners, kids to enjoy it. Look,
and just on that, he talked about when Jamie asked the question about Roy, I think it was about him adapting as well. We've talked about Spurs on this high line for so long, and Jamie on numerous occasions said the need to adapt, and it just thought in today's game he got his tactics spot on.
Just carrying on. Here's Ange now.